We're live. What's up, everybody? What's up?
And we are live. We are gathered here today.
Man, this has been a remarkable trip so far. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we have this is a special podcast tonight. We're here in Utah, supporting our brother Coach Kofe with him and his OFFA program, and we're here in our Airbnb right now, just chilling and deciding to do a little podcast. It's about 2 a.m. right now. But hey, man, we're getting it done. We want to do this special podcast. We had one in Texas when we went out there to visit Tonga and his when he had his opening, the card house. So now we're out here in Utah supporting Coach and his program, and we have a special guest with us, Asi. I don't know if you guys have been following us a long time, that we've always mentioned this guy's name. Asi, he's always been topic of our conversation in recent podcasts. But now we got the man. We got the brother.
We trapped him.
It's all lies.
What's up, Oz? What's up, Coach? But yeah, just, it's times like these is cool, is because we can get together and we can, something that we have in our culture, the Tongan culture, with Tau Hiva, maintain distance or maintain relationship between distances. And this is a great point for us to be here to support Coach Kofe and his program. It's been taking off. Your program, you started out in Idaho, and now you're just flourishing and you're expanding, man. It's a great thing to see. I got in on Wednesday. Jake and I got in on Wednesday, flew in here to Salt Lake, and man, we were over at what high school was that? West?
On Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. Remarkable time, man. It was just amazing time just walking over there and seeing how big your program is and how successful and all the exposure that's going on with your program, man. So.
And when did you start it in Idaho? It's like the late 2000s, so like 2009, 2008, 2009, 10. That's when it started, yeah. But I'll tell you this much, though. Somebody told me that whatever you do, you can't do alone. You got to find people that see the vision and continue to build it, right? Don't forget my dude, Technician. What's up, baby? Yes. Technician has been there, and talking about like branding and like expanding, and shoot, you need people, you need people who see the vision and want to do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? The OFFA way.
Talk a little bit about your program, Coach. What is it? Kind of explain to our listeners what you're doing here in the state of Utah.
Yeah, man, it's nothing to, I'll tell you this. It's for the kids. It's for the community. It's for the families that want to change their situations, right? And this is just another platform for those families, man. It's fun, right? But we only mess with linemen, right? It's strictly just O and D line. You know what I'm saying? Tex Nation. So
your program is called OFFA, right? Can you kind of explain the name of your organization?
Yeah, man, it's an acronym. Our mantra means for the love of the game, right? That's one of our sayings, because ain't nobody gonna be millionaires doing this. It's more of a different feeling. But yeah, it's an acronym. It means love, right? In the native tongue called Tonga, and it stands for offering football fundamentals for athletes.
We all got our gear. We're all sweated out. Yes, sir. All got our OFFA gear. But yeah, man, that's amazing. We talk a lot about like exposure and how exposure can help. And something that we're familiar with, the Jamal King, we always shout him out on our podcast. He has a big thing that he talks about. He's saying your level of exposure will determine your level of success. And what you're doing here in the community in Salt Lake City, northern, not even just here, but also in Idaho, neighboring states, you're allowing you have a platform to help athletes, young athletes, student athletes to gain exposure. The name of the game right now, especially college recruiting, kids need more exposure. It's a different platform, different field of play right now.
Yeah, and what I realized since I've been with OFFA is like some of these parents don't know how to go about getting exposure. And that's another thing we teach with OFFA is how these kids can get exposure to the head coaches of the next level. Because I think that was the same problem with us. We didn't know how to go about getting exposure to all these different schools to, to get us to the next level. But I think with this program, it helps out a lot.
So if you're a kid playing football, at what age should you start to consider prepping for, high school, college, and then, the dream is to make it to the NFL, right? So how are you addressing that in your program?
I don't know, Jake. Hold up. That's a good question. Bro, Jay, cut this one out.
But you gotta remember, like back when we were going to school, like in the 90s, even Asi can attest to this. The head coaches of our high school football program, they were the ones that you had to go through to get somewhere. They were like the gatekeepers, more or less, right? Mm-hmm. Now we have the medium of the internet
exposure.
Yeah, exposure. The internet levels the playing field on all sorts of industries, not just recruiting for college, but music industry. If you want to write a book and produce a book, and now you can be an author, in that industry. But it's just a remarkable thing that you're doing here. When did you move to Utah, and when did you start going? Like, because I know Ati, you were out in Sacramento. I was working in Sacramento, and you started another program out there. It's kind of similar to what you're doing out here, Lineman Win Games. And that was amazing too, because those kids in that area, Northern California, they didn't have, like what we were saying, they didn't have exposure either. Mm-hmm. But then you see a bunch of kids getting out there, getting recruited just from your guys' program and your expertise. You have years of coaching, and not a lot of people know that your background. So can you kind of talk about a little bit about your background and where you come from? Like, you're not just showing up out of the blue. You have school, and you were an athlete yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I'm just the experience that I had being in the Division I level was probably one of the funnest times of my life, right? And I wish that upon any worthy young man that's worthy to play at that level, so they could receive those benefits of their hard work, because it's fun, it's challenging, a lot of all the above, right? But it helps shape you to be the man that you want to be, right? The good fathers and good community, all those good things, right? But football helps push those kids that way. But what I'm starting to see now, and I'm going to cut straight to the chase, right? What I'm starting to see now is that when kids get into high school, it's become more common. They already develop these habits, bad habits, right? And it's hard to break them. And by the time they break them, it's probably towards the end of their career in high school. If they're not really, really good at the time, then it's going to be, they're just going to struggle to get it.
I can see that in the development. Like we were, just for the people who are listening and the viewers, we've been here since Wednesday. So it's already Friday or Saturday morning. And yesterday we were at Brighton High School, their indoor practice facility. And you could tell because there are different schools there from all over, right? Idaho, some schools from Idaho were there. You can see the players who have put in the time and the work to perfect their craft, especially in their lineman position. Like, you could totally tell that. Did you see some of that, Us?
Yeah, a lot of significant difference. Yeah, put that closer to you.
Oh, yeah, especially in the OFFA kids, right?
Yeah.
Seems like they had an advantage in the drills and wearing their OFFA shirts around, but they seem to dominate a lot of their one-on-ones, walking around with confidence. What are some of the ways that you help them build that confidence?
Yeah, man. There's a saying that
grab the mic.
There's a saying that everybody always says, right? Iron sharpens iron, right? That's the only way you can get better. So we created an opportunity for the best offensive and defensive linemen in the whole state of Utah to go head up, multiple times, right? And the only result out of that is for them to get better than they were. It's pretty much, I want to say it's guaranteed, but not everything's it's guaranteed. If you come here, whatever level you're at currently, I promise you, after those couple weeks or those couple months, those kids are going to get better, right? And, technically, emotionally, you know what I mean, spiritually, those kids will come out of our program better than when they came in, you know what I'm saying? Because iron sharpens iron, and this platform is fun to watch.
You know, I like how you say that, iron sharpens iron, but also it takes a master crafter to organize that. So those kids, yeah, they have the iron and everything, but it takes a master, a person who understands the fire, understands which types of metal go into the fire to burn. So that starts from the top. Everything starts from the top. We learned that from John Maxwell. You're right. Everything rises and falls on leadership, and so that's one of the great things that we're here. We're witnessing you, helping you. I mean, just being here in your presence to help see your program grow, man. That's just, it's amazing, man. Props to you and your team. Because it takes a team, right? It takes a team.
It does. You know, as soon as I finished playing college ball, I got right into coaching college football. And so I coached college ball for over a decade, probably like 12 years, going on 13. And so there's a lot of skills that I've learned, a lot of different ways you view the game and view kids, right, in the recruiting world. And so, and sometimes I can transfer myself to think like a college recruiter, because I've done it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Over and over again, fighting for kids and understanding what a lot of these coaches are seriously looking for. And because of that knowledge, I can put it up on our platform so that these kids can be seen. You know what I'm saying? And it's fun. Because, these kids are good, man, you know. It's fun to see the best potential prospects in high school going against each other, head up, you know, very competitive.
You helped to change the game here in Utah, man. There hasn't been a time that I can remember where you see a lot of kids just left and right getting recruited, especially I know because I'm from Reno, we don't see that type of activity here, right? You don't have a lot of coaches coming out to Reno, and maybe more nowadays, but here in Utah, you're changing the game in that respect, because when we got, like I said, we were here Wednesday afternoon, flew in, and one of the events you held at West High School, was it? Right. West High School, and bro, we walked onto the freaking onto the campus right after we parked. First thing I see when we walked into the end zone of the football field, there, right there, the main football stadium, Oklahoma State, Nebraska, Washington State, all these different colleges with their clipboards evaluating your kids. I had never seen that before, bro. Like, that's super interesting, man. It's like super, it's special, man. And not a lot of places can say that they offer that exposure. So Utah, man, please tap into our brother here, OFFA Academy, OFFA Academy.
OFFA Academy, yeah, man. It's an opportunity, man. You know, the coaching world is actually really small. Everybody knows everybody, and especially in the poly coaching world, everybody knows everybody. And so I'm just really blessed that I've been in the college world, and I have the opportunity now to share with our Utah kids, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we chasing free school, right? We chasing scholarships, right? That's the end of the day. So in this sport, coaches want to see results, right? Like solid results. Not sometimes. It has to be consistent, solid results of winning different reps in football. So, but yeah, man, it's fun. It's fun more, man. Just for the kids, though, you know.
Absolutely, you've always been. It's so genuine. Like, we went to dinner earlier tonight, and I was talking with Ben, your brother, older brother Ben, and I was telling him, man, it's different because there's a lot of get rich people just try to like hustle these kids out. You know, there's plenty of them, but then there are a rare few that can ultimately offer a genuine experience, right, for the families and for the kid. Not only like to pour into them, not just for the game of football, but you guys go so much further beyond the game of football. So I think that's something special that you're building out here, man. So and it was amazing to witness, man, especially for Wednesday. It is now Saturday morning. We had 3 days of seeing how you're running your program and just blown away, bro. Straight up.
It's all about relationships, man. I came out here, when I first got out here, I'm going to tell you this, when I first came out here, there was no training. There was no O-line, D-line training.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, we got to do something because we did it with Johnny O.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm like, man, we can run our own out here. And we did it, you know. It wasn't pretty in the beginning. Everybody's starting to see the light of it, but there was some blood and some sweat and some tears behind that thing, man. You know what I'm saying?
The hateration.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just the organization of it. It's all about those relationships. So being new, I found some dudes that I can trust. I found some dudes that I can roll with, right? Because I'm brand new. I'm not from Utah, right? But I bang Utah hard now, you know what I mean? Because I live here now. And I found some dudes that see the same process and vision that I do, you know? And so this is what we're chasing, right? Free school. Don't get it twisted, right? Ain't nobody about the glamour. Nobody likes the light. Everybody, oh, good job. Nah, I ain't trying to hear all that, right? Number one is for the kids, right? And the opportunity to chase free school, man. That opportunity so mom and dad don't pay for it. That's the goal, right? Don't get it twisted. You know what I mean? So I put these kids in the position so that they can receive that blessing, you know what I'm saying? But you got to be worthy of it. You know, you can't just come in this game and think some guys can do that, but it'll catch up to them in the next level. So you have to teach it now so they feel those emotions. And when they get to that level, they already used to it. They've been there before. They felt it before and they know how to react. You know, they know how to react to that situation. So it's hard to simulate that though, man, us, right? At that next level, it's hard to simulate what situations they're going to go through because we're limited, you know what I mean? With money, with resources. And so anybody listening to podcasts, we're a 501c3, we're a nonprofit organization, right? And we do it for the kids. And so if you have an opportunity to bless us, to bless some kids, please, you know what I mean? You can write it off and tap in, man, for real. And then I'm not trying to, this is for the kids. So if you want to change somebody's life, because there are families here that want to do the training, they just can't afford it, right? They can't get to California to those camps. We can't travel down to St. George, right? This thing's expensive. So it's, you know, we're donation based. So, you know, and there's people that have blessed us. So I appreciate everybody that blessed us. Our count is really there to help the kids, bro.
That's what's up. I had a chance to at the Wasatch Lineman Challenge yesterday to interview a kid that you guys have been working with since he was in 8th grade, and now he happens to be one of the top athlete coming out of the state of Utah. Garcia, Isaiah, is it Pitt? What is that?
Isaiah Garcia.
Isaiah Garcia. I think in the whole state of Utah, I think that's the first. Oh no, maybe not the first. Maybe the second SEC offer from Alabama. That kid was when I talked with him, man, he's so sharp. So are you guys teaching him how to talk to the media too? Because man, when I was talking to him, his answers were so just. He was rattling them off like he took a media course before.
Yeah, man. The standard is a standard, right?
Come on.
Say that again. The standard is what?
The standard is the standard. Yes, man. For real. And that's the level of expectations, right?
Bro.
And these kids have to be held accountable for those expectations all the time, right? Hate it or love it, right? And we only choose those ones who's worthy to feel those emotions, like I talk about, right? Got to put them in those situations so that when they get to the next level, they know how to react, bro. They know how to overcome those challenges of being a student athlete, you know, being whatever. But
yeah, that's one thing I noticed. I think that was the first event I've ever did, live, was you're developing relentlessness. Like grit, how to take a loss and still continue to move forward. Damn. And at that younger an age, that's vital in the future. And so that's something that really stood out to me because I've known a lot of people myself, whoever. You get in certain situations, and you get down like that, especially with football, because it could be like, your coaches, whoever, whatever the program is, you're going through lifting, anything, and it's easy to get down. But I can see they were developing that mental toughness to just keep pushing. That was beautiful.
Yeah, and just to like piggyback on you, so everybody knows when they hear this, right? When college coaches come to me, right, and this is what you hear coming from the dudes who's really doing it the right way, right? The college coaches who come in and ask like this one question, and this question is determines a lot about a prospect. You know what I'm saying? And when you hear that from them, that means that coach is looking at how to play this game up front the right way, because there is a right way. I'm telling you, and people veer away from it. Which one of these dudes love football? Yeah,
that's what separates it.
Which dudes? Because I have a prospect list, right? 24, 25, 26s, and 27s, all the way down. Players, whatever, and all their information. He goes, on this list, which one of your dudes? So say I got about 25 dudes on this list. Ain't only 2, maybe 3. Yeah. Even though there's levels to being elite, right? Any level you go to, there's levels to it. There's better guys than, you know what I'm saying? So that's what separates like those kids.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember like personally, I played a little ball or whatever. I thought it was nice, but looking back in hindsight, I didn't love the game. And I look back, and the guys who love the game, they're the ones that excelled at every level because they were willing to put in that time and effort outside of practice to better themselves. So when I look back, that's one thing I always thought, was like, man, the ones that love the game, those are the ones that excel because they'll do whatever it is, the extra different, hours, different, weightlifting. Those are the ones that are going to be putting in that work. That's why it's beautiful to hear you say that.
Yeah. And the word OFFA means love and talking, right? It's for the love of the game.
Come on, coach.
Everything is twisted into it. Yeah. Because the mentality, man, it's your mentality of how you approach the game. It matters, right? At every level and at everything you do, it matters. And if you're not like a perfectionist and trying to get better, man, you're going to fall behind, man, real fast. Because dudes is hungry and dudes will eat if you know what I mean? So.
I like something you said to me the other day, just yesterday, and you were saying, you're talking about your program, and you said, like, man, some of these people will come to my program, they'll probably get bored because or want to leave somewhere else, right? Can you talk about what you said to me?
Man. Yeah, man. So the program that we put together, right, is based on this this word or this deal, this noun, right? It's called fundamentals, right? And fundamentals is old. I read that it's fundamentals is old. People from back in the days already created this fundamentals, and it's been passed down, right? When somebody say they came up with a new fundamental, be like, he's lying, right? This just doesn't happen, right? And it's old. But when you learn a fundamental, when you get it, when you understand it, you got it, right? Forever. You know what I'm saying? That fundamental. You understand it, so it doesn't mean you're going to be perfect at obeying that standard. You know what I'm saying? But you understand it, right? And that's what we teach. We teach the basic fundamentals of how to be a perfect offensive or defensive lineman, right? And it starts from the ground. So we build our linemen from the ground up, and it starts with your feet and the stance, right? And I keep telling people, right, that 98% of all the mistakes that happen in the trenches, that transpire in the trenches, they occur before the ball moves, right? The snap haven't even started yet, Toko. Straight up.
What? Can you rewind that real quick? What'd you say?
Yeah, I'm dropping dimes in this thing up.
Bro. Serious, coach.
Man.
Before the ball snaps?
98% of all the mistakes that occur in the trenches transpire before the ball is snapped. So that starts with your stance. If you got a terrible stance, you're going to have a terrible first step, and you might lose that rep and you can cause something bad, right? So it has to be perfect. You got a perfect stance, right? You got a perfect alignment, and that's what we teach in our program. And when people come to see the basic fundamentals of how to get in a stance, that's boring, though. Nobody want to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Man, coach, I know how to get down there, man. I just, you know what I mean? Rock, that's it. I rock it back and I put my hand on the carpet and I'm ready to roll. Nah, there's an art form to it. There's a clay that you have to mold in these kids. And if they ain't got it, we train for it, right? Yep. And we train for your toes to stay vertical, pointed vertically upfield. Your toes got it. Wherever your toe points, the opposite foot follows. You know what I'm saying? Naturally. So you have to teach the kids to run like that, to play like that, because it's a natural motion in our bodies. So it's an art that you master, and you teach it at the simplest form. And if you perfect it, bro, you're gonna dominate more than you lose. You know what I'm saying? You win more reps than you lose. You'll lose. Ain't nobody perfect in this game. You know what I'm saying? That's why this game is hard, because you can't perfect it. You're always going to make a mistake. How big or little, it depends on that mistake, right? But I teach the basic fundamentals, and kids come and they get bored. It ain't flashy, you know what I'm saying? It's not. And so a lot of them, when they leave, they always come back home to daddy. You know what I'm saying? They always come home, right? Because it's the basic fundamentals of the game, man, right? And we pound that. That's what OFFA is for. They're offering football fundamentals, right? For athletes, not just football, spiritually, right? Intellectually, you know, emotionally. So there's a lot of things that we just try to paint. You guys get my picture, you know what I'm saying?
I have a quick question.
No.
So, like, how do you develop a love, like a true love for the game, to where it makes you want to do all and everything that you can to, you know, excel in the game? Like, what does that look like?
So you're saying if there's like a step-by-step process of how to...
Like vaguely, you know, because that's something that, I don't know, is it you're born with it or you're not? Is it just naturally there? Or is that something that you can develop, if so?
That's a good question. I'm going to go back what Jake was talking about. When the kids get in high school, a lot of time it's too late for them to develop a certain way to be recruited. And it's sad, man, you know? It's too late. Sometimes it's too late when they get to high school. But you have those ballers. Man, them dudes always going to ball in high school, right? That's just how it naturally works. But I'm talking about just a regular Joe that is underdeveloped, that wants to get developed, right? When they get in high school, bro, sometimes it's too late. So to answer your question, Jay, I like to start young, right? In the 5th grade, in the 6th grade, right? Young, like, how old are they? Like 7, 8, okay? And I think in that realm, in that level, those are the kids you want to start training, because as you saying about it, it's that step-by-step, it's creating habits, right? Great habits, yep. And if you can train your habits when they're at that age, they're always going to have it, because it's a fundamental. So anytime they learn it, they got it. You know what I mean? You don't be lying like you didn't see success in that principle. You saw it, and you saw the benefits of it. So respect it, obey it, and do as much as you can to, you know, to fight that whatever it is that's bad.
You can see that, like, you know, and this is coming from, you know, I never played football, but you can see in especially your OFFA kids and the ones that have mastered a lot of the fundamentals and the power and confidence that they have walking up on their one-on-ones and winning the rep before they're even about to start, you know, that one-on-one where you just see the swag, the confidence that they carry with them. There's power in that, right? So it's just interesting to see, just that dynamic, especially with, there was a bunch of high schools there competing, but especially the OFFA kids, a lot of them wearing their OFFA gear, and they're there with their high schools, and you can kind of just see that dynamic play out.
Yeah, man. That program is a hand-picked program. So I evaluate all these kids before I even invite them into the program, right? I go to their football games. I talk to their coaches. Like, I do a lot, because the standard is the standard when it comes to being a lineman, right? And then if I could find those kids, I could develop them, and hopefully they find an opportunity, And then, but not everybody gets that opportunity, right? Not everybody gets to eat, man. It's sad, hurts my heart to hear that not everybody can continue to play the game because they, whatever circumstances they're in.
Yeah, that's funny that you mentioned that, because you actually wrote when your master's for your thesis masters or your thesis for your master's, you talked about that a little bit. How about? Can you expound on that? Because this is something that we had a guest on recently. What was her name? Reese from Arizona. She's a real estate broker or agent, and she was talking about, she wanted us to talk to one of her relatives about professional athletes or college athletes that go on and don't have sports anymore. They kind of lose their identity, kind of lose who they are. And you wrote a thesis on that. Sac State, right?
Yep, Sac State. When I was going to get my master's degree.
Yeah.
And I wrote this book. I was hecka proud of myself, bro. I wrote a book. It was like,
straight up,
it was like 84 pages, right? And I sat down by myself, right, with my daughter, and I wrote that whole thing, bro. It was, I still blow my mind, because when you write all those papers and then you take it into like the bookstore and then they stamp it, and you know what I'm saying, and put the cover, and it looks so professional, you know what I'm saying, the cardboard and all that. Man, I'm proud of that, you know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying is I've been through those emotions, and so those kids can see it, and I can help them overcome that.
You talked about life after
that's it. Okay. Yeah.
After playing college sports.
So you've been playing football since you were 6 years old. Any sport, whatever NCAA sport it is, right? You've been playing since you was a baby, right? And then once you fulfill all your dreams of whatever level of football you want to play, if it's college or NFL, once you're done, right? And football's over, because you can't play football forever, bro, right? Not forever. There always has to be a plan, but there's those guys, right, that don't see that. And then once football is over, it's called identity identity crisis, identity loss. That's the word. That's the term in the books. Identity loss. So these kids or these adults been known as a football player their whole life. Hanging out with the football players and partying with the football players, practice and everything you wear and everything. Man, when you tell them that they can't be that person anymore, that they can't no longer go and live with the boys, they can't go to the locker room and, practice, it's gone. It's done. A lot of people can't handle that.
I'm about to cry right now.
And it's similar to like a lot of like tragic things that can happen to somebody, like somebody getting in an accident and passing away, right? Somebody unexpectedly get pregnant. These are just the studies, right? So it's very similar. It's very similar. It's very tragic, and trauma. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. It's traumatic for a lot of these guys when they lose their identity of being a football player. They got to find who they're going to be next. You know what I'm saying? And that's hard, right? And so the OFFA program that we created, we're trying to bridge that gap.
Man, that's special, man. That's special. Props to you, Coach. Just keep doing it, man. Keep doing it. So yeah, we're all here. Like if you've been following us, we were in Texas before, and we're all entrepreneurs here at this table, every single one of us, and we're just here to support that Tauhiba aspect of our culture, is just maintaining that relationship between distances. And another person we have here that kind of connected all of us is, we talked to him earlier in the podcast, our homie and our brother, Tagoa Asi. Thank you for being here with us. When we flew in, when we got in, Jake hit up Os, right? And then Os came through. Well, by the time we got back to this Airbnb, Os already had some barbecue ready for us and some food already. You know, that goes to show, like, I haven't seen Os since we lived in New York City. So we worked in New York City together. We worked in the theater district and worked on several different shows. Ossie was a stage man, technical person, everything. We you name it, we did everything in New York when we lived out there. But that's the last time I seen you, was out in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And this might be since 2013. Since 2013 is the last time I seen you. But then to see you again here and just to be around you again, we just picked up where we left off, man. And that's something that I cherish, is having great friendships like that. So thank Os for being here, for showing us love, and always just being here to support that Tahiwa part, you know.
Yeah, you know, that's what we do in the culture. Mm-hmm. Vitonga, Clarity Vitonga. That's just what you do. But thanks for trapping me, sabotaging me with this podcast.
Yeah, man. We've been trying to get you on the podcast for how long? Since we started our podcast in 2019, and ever since we started, we always mention you throughout your name in the pod, like different episodes. We always talk about you in different times. But now, lo and behold, we got you, man. It took, coaches Coach's function to bring us all together. But how you been, man? Everything cool? Like,
yeah, everything's good, you know.
yeah,
It's living life. Nothing too special. Getting by. Just happy to see you guys here.
thank you.
It's been a while. Reconnect with you guys. It's been like years.
Yeah,
It's good to see all of you guys. You know, lost a lot of weight.
yeah.
Man, still have full heads of hair.
That's funny, man. Yeah, man, it's good to see you, brother. It's good to see you, man. And not only that, but it mentions that we're all entrepreneurs, and you've been skyrocketing in the social media realm, man. Just, you have this niche that you're going through, you're producing out there, and just caught wind of it. We wanted to talk about that a little bit. Can you talk about what you're doing on social media, and like just your niche?
What I was trying to be, what's the word? Behind the scenes when people don't know you, autonomous. Trying to stay autonomous about it, but
Whoops.
I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about our brother Ossie. So I've known Ossie. I met Ossie through Coach here. Me and Coach, we went down to Dixie. We were that junior college when it was a junior college at the time, and these guys happened to come by and visit. Right? Well, you guys come down and visit, and ever since then, I've just known you guys. But you've always been a tastemaker. Like, ever since I've known you, always you like the different genres of music, people that are coming out with new music, and just in that, in the arts, not just music, but arts, like maybe films and stuff like that too. You always been a tastemaker. And we went. Didn't we go to Brooklyn one time? We went to a music conference, and they were talking about tastemaker.
I think so. I think I remember that.
Yeah, but that's something that's integral in the, like, to have tastemakers in the industry, whatever industry that you're in, and you've always been that person. You've always been that type of person, and it shows, especially what you're doing now on social media with the niche that you're pushing out there. So
Yeah, I don't know. I just always like to stay ahead of the trend, if that makes sense. I don't like to be someone that kind of follows a trend. And so I don't know if that relates somehow, but I'm always looking for the new, whatever hot thing it is. And so I don't know. I didn't know that would end up being like something that would be coined as like a tastemaker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they call them.
It is. No, it is.
Yeah, they call them tastemakers now.
You see it all the time now, like tastemakers, like playing this on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I've been making playlists forever, hooking up whatever.
The most unique playlist, we were talking about it the other day. You got the most unique playlist all like throughout Spotify.
And
Unique names
Yeah.
playlist.
That too.
You know, everything went to the T.
We were talking a little bit about what Ossie's been doing for his social media, and it's remarkable that you're doing that. I know you kind of want to stay mysterious. Nah, but yeah, no, just it's just good to get together with just friends, man. Just like especially like as time goes by, you never know what's gonna happen, And then this is just one of those things. I mean, we almost had an incident with Jake with our trip out here. So just thankful that you're healthy and, still kicking with us, man.
Right.
Could have been a different situation for this trip.
Right. Stopped and lit it in Texas instead on the way over here.
Yeah. Shout out to our brother Tonga and Paul and Joe, the other members of our podcast. Couldn't be here with us during this week, but they're here with us in spirit. But yeah, man, it's just great time to get together. And Coach, thank you for letting us all come out here and witness the program, how it's growing and everything.
Man, thank you guys for coming out, man. So you guys can see what we're doing here to help the kids, man. All right.
Coach, you talk about networking and how powerful networking is. And that is one thing that our guy Ossie is like the master at, because we are all connected from Ossie and a lot of the other people that we know.
Mm-hmm.
You have this like easy way of just getting to know people, and not everybody, but just about everybody, and you're able to maintain those friendships. Talk to us a little bit about just that ease of connecting with people that you have.
I don't know. I never really thought about exactly.
Well, I think it's fair. I think we should let everyone know who's listening that you guys were actually college roommates, right? So,
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're all like connected in that, like you guys were roommates, Coach and I were roommates. Me and Tech grew up together, and then we all three of us here, you, me, Ossie, and Tech, we all worked in New York City together in the theater district.
And we were roommates.
And we were roommates. So it's like, this is one big old circle. But one thing that's all, that I want to say before you go on. So Kaba, the circle, has brought us all together somewhat in a way.
Yeah, definitely. Going at the
Yeah.
we feel sure.
And then tying it in before I'll pass it back to you. So you invited Will and Notice up to Rexburg when I was living with you when we were roommates up there, and that's how I met these guys. And so your ability to have everybody come up and host people and kind of give that just that that spirit of giving that's in the Tongan culture to everybody that kind of comes up, and it's just good to see. And and here we are 15 years later. It's a little good. 4 years later. You know what I mean? But strong friendship still,
Yeah.
Indeterminate number of years later. It's just, that's just kind of crazy. Strong friendships that we've built, just from, again, from, you inviting some people up to visit us when we were going to school.
No, yeah. When I grew up with Will, Will went to school in New Orleans, like we were saying. Will was actually fans with Tech. Tech was, it's kind of all intertwined. It's almost like, if you're Tongan, it's a small world. We really don't understand that. You really don't realize that. And it's just like, sometimes when you get together, next thing you know, oh, you my cousin? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you just build those relationships, and it's all about strengthening those relationships. I think you're more so, you're Fenny's brother.
Excuse me? Shout out to Fenny.
I mean, roommate. So, yeah, I mean, just kind of go on a little bit more about that. That's how we look at each other, like Tongan. Oh, man, it's like my family. And then when we meet people and when we befriend them, it's like family. And so that's how I look at it. You know, that's why it's easy for me to kind of like make friends with, you know, random people or whatever. Song and they call it, you know, mata familia, mata kakai. And, you know, that's like a sad. It's a person that, you know, really, they're always out there. They put themselves out there. They want, you know, show love to people just like, you know, because that's their family, that's their people's. And so, I don't know. I think I just look at things like that sometimes, if that makes sense.
It's definitely like a foreign concept from the outside looking in a little bit, right? Because, you know, I didn't grow up in the, you know, with Polynesian friends or, you know, around the culture. So it's just, you know, it's really refreshing to see how, you know, how much the Polynesian culture and the Tongan culture has on treating people like family like that. It's just, you know, it kind of gives you like faith back in the world where not everybody lives that way, right? And a lot of people don't have culture. They didn't grow up with culture in their lives, and just kind of points again back at how important culture is. And, you know, you know, you guys are embracing kind of me as a brother, even though I wasn't brought up in the culture as well. You know, that's one thing, you know, when I was a roommate of yours and we went through tough times, I didn't have money for food. Hey, you know, I had some brothers, you know, that would provide for me, you know, that would make sure I had food on my plate. You know, those types of things, you just, and it doesn't exist as much as you'd like to see outside of, you know, what you have in strong cultures. So it was one of the things that, you know, it was just surprising to me as I was, you know, first getting to know you guys. It's unfortunate that it's not more prevalent outside of it, but it's one of the big values I think that comes from culture.
Yeah, definitely. Quick story. When I lived with Jake, you know, I would cook, you know, let's say I cook some chicken. I remember one time I made some chicken and Jake came over there. I was like, man, come eat, man. Make some food for everybody. And Jake, you know, all of us we had our forks out eating the chicken, and Jake started eating it with his hands. And I was like, dude, just use the fork. He was like, nah. I think he wanted to show that he was down, you know, like, but, you know, a little bit of it was like, I was like, dude, we're not savages, man. I know how to use forks. And he was like, no, man, I'm just going to eat it using my hands. And I was like, and he kept that there. I kept telling him, just use a fork, man. That's why the white man made the fork. I said, well, using forks. And Jake was like, nah, man, I'm good. And he kept eating it with his hands. And I was like, I'm going to tell your mom on you. But, you know, this goes to show, man. Jake was down, man. He was down with us. One time he just came over out of nowhere. One time he was like, dang, this dude's stuck over here. But he was all right. He provided a ride for us. So
that started sleeping on the couch and then just never left.
right.
Yeah, after dinner tonight, I made the comment because we were riding back in the rental car. I made a comment, I was like, at one point in time, all four of us here in this car were in New York City. We were in New York City, and now we're riding the car in Salt Lake City, man. It's just crazy how things happen, man. But yeah, it's good to always just, you know, have that strong relationship, man. It lasts, especially if when you, like we learned about suffering. If when you suffer with people, you develop some strong relationships with them. And at our point, we suffered with not having money in school, not having food sometimes. And we suffer around a bowl of kava too. So
that's some suffering.
Long suffering. But yeah. Coach, I wanted to ask you about the program. You ever thought about, like, when you said the standard is the standard, like, what is the standard of coaching those kids? Like, how do you keep those wolves in sheep clothing from coming into your flock and harassing the flock that you're developing, you're pastoring over?
like I explained earlier, the coaching world is small. Everybody knows everybody. And so I just have a tight knit of coaches, network of coaches that those are the only guys I mess with. You know, those guys are going to eat first. Everybody else who want to come ask, I'm not going to say no. And I'll send you the roster. But the game has changed a lot, you know, because now you have to post stuff on social media when, you know, back in the day, we didn't have none of this. So it's still kind of new of how we utilize, you know, the online, you know, social media to help benefit the kids. And that's important. Not everything you post is good, you know, and some of these kids don't know that. Some of the families don't know that. Because if you post a clip of yourself online, it stays there forever. And if somebody is coming there and evaluating you, you may think it looks good, but to the college coach, terrible rep, you know. So and the kid doesn't know that, the family doesn't know that. So in our program, we educate them on which clips need to be put online. It doesn't need to be all of them, you know. It could just be one. You could get a scholarship with one, you know, and showcase what they're looking for. Like, oh, shoot, this dude got hips, right? We want him, and they'll get an offer based on exactly what they're looking for their defensive or offensive schemes.
I don't want to it's not always about the accolades or the offers or anything, but just this past Wednesday, you had 6 kids get offered from just that one day while we were there at West High School.
Man, we blessed, man, you know, and it's nothing to take away from those kids and their families, but those kids work hard, bro, right? Those kids work hard and they want it, you know, and it's not like I'm forcing it out of them. This is just part of their DNA. They are the best prospects in the whole country, in my opinion. I have to fight for that. You know what I mean? If it's bold, it's because we're proud of our kids. We're proud of our state. We're proud of our families. And we're just trying to put the best product, man, because everybody's trying to get it, you know? And so the more prepared the kids are, man, the easier those coaches are going to have a great experience with those kids, and they're always going to come back. Who else you got, right? Mm-hmm. So, man, that's what's up.
I think as a youngster, when you're young, it's hard to take an L, right? It's hard to lose in any situation. Mm. And I mean, it's not easy at any point in your life, but I think especially when you're young, because you have no track record, right? You know, as you get older, you realize that you can. What's the term? We fail forward, right? Is that the term we use there? That failure is part of success. So how do you teach that to the kids, how they can use some of their failures for their own success?
Ooh. I hate losing more than I like winning. Mm-hmm. And so I'm the most competitive of any of those kids, right? Yeah. And so when the coach is competitive, it's just so natural for the players to be on that same level, right? Anytime we do a rep, even if it's a 5-on-5, a lot of these kids, they misinterpret what the purpose of the 5-on-5 is, right? A lot of them is they want to win, and they're counting their win and loss. It's not how you're supposed to look at it, right? You're supposed to look at it as how many reps it might take you for this competition, right? You count your reps, not your wins and losses. And I think by you doing those kids understanding that principle, right, of just getting better and just practicing, and the wins and losses don't mean nothing if it's not a real football game, right? Then the kids they'll be a lot more ahead than the kids his age. You feel me?
Because let's paint the picture. Those one-on-ones, it's not in a football game, but they're going at it. Yeah. They're getting hit in the face a little bit sometimes. Sometimes you see some of the old linemen hooking them around the neck. You could see tempers starting to start up, but especially from the OFFA kids, then you see, okay, when the rep is over, shake hands and give credence to the battle that was fought, but then let it go. You kind of see that, especially a lot from your kids. Is that something that you specifically touch on?
Yeah, man. That's that's just part of one of the principles that you always want to teach for any athlete in NCAA, right? Is sportsmanship, right? There's honor in that, you know? And so you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, you know? And we was talking about it earlier, earlier this week, right? Do you want to touch on that? Do you want me to, you know, you remember we talking about the wins and the losses?
Yeah, as far as within that dynamic, they get used to, I don't want to say used to losing, but they get somewhat get a feel of, yeah, let's say, just leave it at that. They get familiar with taking an L to where they can bounce back. That's what I was saying. They build with a lot more like mental toughness, grit, or they just like, it doesn't bother them as much. Whereas, you know, in other dynamics of football, man, you take a L, you know, or, you know, like if, let's say, a DB gets burned, he's going to remember that. That's going to crush him, you know. He won't be able to cover the same. Or the D lineman, he's like, when he sees that same guy, he comes up against, he's like, man, he got my number. It's over. But I noticed within that dynamic, they get used to, like, you know, like going up. If they take a L, it's fine. You can, just like you said, take another rep. How much of like for you, does that like a lot of those principles tie into life more so? Yeah.
Man, you see it on T-shirts. Maybe it's just me because I'm a football dude, but football is life, right? The principles you learn and the dynamics of a football team and the sport, man, it teaches everything about how to be a great person, right? How to be a teammate, how to be a friend. So, yeah, man, you know, I'm not going to share all our secrets, you know. Come on, man. You know, we're just going to keep it general and, you know, and try to be competitive, right? Because we're not the only ones that do this, you know. There's other programs here in the state that we love and we support, you know. And so those guys that do the same thing we do in terms of off-season training and helping these kids develop, we have strong relationships with them, man. I don't know if you guys forgot, but the name of our program is called OFFA, and OFFA means love. And so the only way we can stay true to the OFFA way is by continuing to build this relationship with everybody that's doing the same space, because we're all training the same kids, right? We all have an interaction with a bunch of the same kids. So when we start to get in like, that's my kid, your kid, you know, that's when it starts to go, you know, downhill for not just the programs, but for the kid, you know, emotionally. So we love everybody, man, you know, all these dudes. And I could go down the list, but I can't because I'm going to forget somebody, you know what I'm saying? But those dudes do a fantastic job of preparing my kids, your kids, our kids, Utah kids, because when they come to me, they polished, you know what I'm saying? They're ready to compete, you know? So shout out to all the dudes who, you know, who's in the game. We love you, man.
Man, that's what's up.
And that reflects back. That's a good lesson for us to also take away as adults when we see them. They approach every rep to win, but then accept the L as part of the process. It's a good lesson for us to remember too.
It's a part of the process.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I failed quite a bit in a lot of different avenues trying to.
Can you be more specific?
These are my confessions. But there's something freeing in knowing that, you know, some of the suffering and some of, you know, let's say a job doesn't work out, a relationship doesn't work out. It's not the end of the world, right? That's a part of the process. It's part of the process of life. And how you win is you get back up and you keep going, right? You don't give up. So that, you know, those lessons, it's funny, it's a game, right? It's a game that is building the foundation to a successful life that these kids are learning. And again, a good lesson for us to take away just in case we forgot that lesson.
Yeah, and those are fundamentals of life. And the thing about the fundamentals is it's simple, right? So it's easy as if you fall, just get up, right? It's easy. It's hard to do. And not everybody can do it, man, consistently. And these kids in Utah, y'all better come get them because they keep getting up. You know what I mean? Faster. You know what I'm saying? They get up. They don't. They've been trained, and they've been well prepared to attack the world and represent and be great ambassadors for our state. That's what we building, man. You know, for the kids.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed. They get up straight faced, like no emotion. Like, man, he got me. Like, I lost that one, and they just line back up. Like, I'm like, man, niggas are impressive.
Next play mentality.
Right.
Straight up. And also, another thing I like and I noticed is that you're helping them to build a brand, especially like individual brands. All those kids, they're developing a brand, their own brand. And we see now how the environment is with NIL deals and all this other stuff. But it just goes to remind me that that each one of them is a brand, an ambassador for their own personal brand, the names on their back, and also being part of your brand, you know. That's deep, man.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot of great, and it's so genuine, you know what I mean?
And for those of you who don't know, now you know. It's the off our way, dog, for real.
When you like, honestly, when we learn about when we go like talk about spiritual stuff, like the higher law is the highest law is love. And you've incorporated that into your company. Literally is what your company stands for. Love. That is the highest law, right? That we're learning.
Isn't there a song like that?
Yes. Who am I though? Who am I though? You.
And it's also one of the hardest laws too.
Man.
Right? When somebody crosses love, the opposite of love, right? Dang. Same thing. It's tragic. All right. So it go both ways.
Because I think to be like a true man, right? A protector and a provider, you got to learn how to, like we were talking about, take the L, learn how to be relentless, but then wrap that up with kindness and love. You know, that's the difficult, right? Is to be balanced in all those things. But I mean, again, you've seen those kids, you know, jump up and shake hands and just, you know, they embody. You know, those lessons, you know, the on that path of good masculinity right there. We talk about positive masculinity right there. Those are good traits to carry kind of forward in life right there is learning to wrap all those things. I think what's the saying? It's better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in a war, right?
Can you say that one more time, sir?
It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war, right? So be capable, right? And I think as men, you know, we need to be powerful and capable. We need to teach them, but then we need to wrap that with the kindness and love and be balanced. I think that's how we meet our potential as men.
Man, this has been a pretty cool topic discussion, man. Learned a lot here. I mean, just by being here present and seeing your program, doing remarkable stuff, Coach, man.
It's fun, huh? It's fun. Yeah, when you see the kids and they're when they're preparing for war, right? I love that part, right? You can see which kid is stretching, what kids are messing around, laughing. This is before war, you know what I mean? And so those kids who know how to prepare and know what the situation is gonna be like and stay focused, dude, those are the dudes I want on my team. You know what I'm saying? And I see that. And there's too many kids in this past thing. I don't want it to be serious. I still want it to be fun, but it's fun to see the differences, right? Of where these kids are at, you know, in terms of how they prepare.
Straight up. You guys have anything? Like, I think we covered a lot. Touched on a lot of things and on what you're doing here in the state of Utah, in Salt Lake City. Touched on getting to see our brother Os again. And just Jake brought up some great comments and points. But anything else you guys want to talk about that we might have missed, that you might have not mentioned?
Yes. Am I getting paid for this?
Check in the mail as the man.
Nah, man, I'm just grateful that all y'all get to come, and see what me and Tech is doing, and it's not easy. It takes a lot of hard work and a lot of preparation, but
And time.
Wifey's still mad at me because it's not paying no bills, right? We're not here for it's for the love of the game. Don't get it twisted, right? And we bought our kids, and we're gonna advocate for our kids to receive that free scholarship, straight up, free school, opportunity to play at another level and continue to play ball, man. But I show y'all love, man. Thank you for coming out, right? And it's fun, and this is just the beginning. Feel me?
That's what I'm saying.
This is just the beginning. If you think it's like this, you wait. You know what I'm saying? This is just, now we know. Now we know how to maneuver through this space here in this state and find ways to be more effective, right? For the college coaches. Find ways to showcase these kids on a different level compared to everybody else in the country. So we coming, right? We going. We want that because we feel like we have the right attitude. We got the right mentality, you feel me? And we gonna do it right. But I just thank y'all for coming, man. Appreciate y'all. Much love, Just make sure that if you have family around here, send them to OFFA. Feel me? Send them over.
How do they find you?
They can get on our website. It's just OFFA, OFFA, all one word, no space, offafootball.org. And that's our website. Come check us out, see what we're all about, or they can just send us on Instagram. It's just OFFA Academy, OFFA_Academy. Find us, man. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We on it, man. Just so you can see what greatness look like in our eyes for the state of Utah. You know what I'm saying?
So it's not specific in just Utah. Like I've seen a neighboring state, Idaho, was there as well.
We always want to showcase the best kids in our area, and so yes, it includes Southeast Idaho, and we always have an Idaho kid in our program. We love it. You know what I'm saying? Big Bro is over there, so I always want to keep our OFFA love connected.
Oh, that's the connect.
That's the connect, right? It was Big Bro, so he finds the kids in that area. He's the liaison for the area, and he tells me this is the kid that's available. We should try to get him on the squad, and so we got one kid, right, from Idaho in our program, and he's a dog, right? He's a dude, right? Tough Idaho kid, so he fits, man.
That's what's up, Coach. Keep it up, man. Thanks again for having us here down to see your program and for just bringing us all together, That's what's up. That's what we're all about. And thank you guys again for listening. You guys have anything else you guys want to share? Can we wrap it up? You guys want to wrap it up?
Yes, single ladies. Oh, just kidding.
Well, yeah. This has been a great podcast. We appreciate everyone listening again. And for those of you who don't know, OFFA is one of our main sponsors for this podcast, along with the Texas Card House and Rex Roos Investments. And we hope to bring this guy on as one of our sponsors as well. What Ossie's doing. But thank everyone for tuning in, and be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And again, reach out to OFFA. Send your kids here. If you're in the state of Utah or neighboring states, send them over to OFFA. Coach Will Kofit.
And 5th and 6th grade is not too early. So start the kids early if they want to get a good shot, right, Coach?
Yup. Early.
Thanks again for everyone tuning in, and we'll see you next time.